Hello everyone. Today I'm excited to share an insightful overview of corporate finance. This tale includes a visual and structured mind map inspired by the lesson of Prof. Roy Sambal. Corporate finance is the backbone of every successful business decision, focusing on how companies effectively manage their resources to create value, maintain growth, and sustain profitability. Profitable teaching emphasizes not only the theoretical underpinnings but also the practical application of corporate finance principles.
I will present for corporate finance a comprehensive guide. This presentation explores key concepts for corporate finance. I try to give six sampling from my professor Roy Sandel. First is McKinsey for cornerstone of corporate finance, and then second is six component of firm value, and the third, what is the real option method for the capital budgeting, and then fourth, four groups of financial ratio to evaluate company financial health, and then five, total risk, systematic risk, and symmetric risk, and then the last, I try to evaluate financial distress and corporate restructuring. McKinsey have four cornerstones of corporate finance to provide a framework designed to guide company in their decision to maximize and sustain value creation. These principles are crucial for understanding how different action and strategies impact company financial health and shareholder value. There's a detailed look at each cornerstone. The first is the corner of value. The focus is the central idea is the value of company is determined by its ability to generate cash flow in the future. The core of value is based on creating return that exceeds the cost of capital. For the application, companies should be focused on the operational efficiency and strategic investment that improve their return on investment capital and basis cash flow over accounting profit. And then for the cornerstone, second, the conservation value. The focus of this principle states that financial transactions cannot create value by themselves unless they also enhance the company cash flow or reduce risk. Simple rearrangement of the financial restructure does not add value. For the application, action like restructuring debt, issuing equity, or buying back shares should be viewed through the lens of whether they truly contribute to the operational performance and intrinsic value of the company. For the cornerstone 3, the expectation treadmill, for focus, this cornerstone revolves around the market expectation. A company value increase when it performs above market expectation and diminish when it fails to meet them. Application, company must manage external expectations through consistent and strategic communication and performance delivery. Surprising the expectation performance metric can lead to positive evaluation by the market. For the last cornerstone for the best owner, the focus is principle. Here is the value of a business is influenced by its ownership. Different owners can unlock different level of value based on their resource capability and focus. For the application, in merger and acquisition, the acquiring company shall have clear reason why they would be the best owner of the asset, able to unlock value that others cannot. This can involve leveraging unique capabilities, accessing new market, or driving synergies that others cannot replicate. And the second is the sixth component of firm value. First, revenue growth. Revenue growth is one of the most fundamental indicator of a firm's ability to expand its business operation over time. Companies that can consistently increase their sales are often seen as successful, and resilient. And the second is profitability. Profitability measures how efficiently a company generates income relative to its expenses. A highly profitable company creates more value for shareholders and has a better capacity to reinvest in its operation, fund growth initiative, or return capital to shareholders. And then third, operational efficiency. Measure how well a company utilizes its assets to generate revenue. This includes looking at asset turnover ratio and operational process. Efficient operation can sustain higher profitability and support long-term growth, thereby enhancing firm value. And then fourth, market position and competitive advantage. A firm position with its industry and its competitive modes like brand strength, proprietary technology, regulatory barriers. Influence its ability to sustain profit against the competitor. Strong market positioning can secure future cash flow by reducing competitive pressure and protecting market share. And then five, financial health, including factors like capital structure, debt level, liquidity ratio, and credit rating. Good financial health reduces risk, influence the cost of capital, and affect firm ability to invest in growth opportunities or weather economic downturn. For the sixth, future outlook and external environment. Consider future economic condition, industry trends, regulatory change, and geopolitical factors that could impact the business. Positive future expectation and a stable external environment enhance firm value by reducing risks and increasing the probability of achieving project cash flow. The next, real option in capital budgeting. In capital budgeting, the real option approach is particularly useful for a project with several future paths and high uncertainty, such as new product launch, research and development project, or any investment in volatile market. It allows company to make informed decisions by explicit valuing the flexibility to adopt and revise future business decisions based on actual and evolving market conditions. Okay, the concept of the real option. The first option to expand. This is the initial project perform well. The firm might be the option to increase its scale of scope. And then second is option to abandon. This project is reached to lower the expectation. The firm can case operation selling of its asset. This is similar to a put option. And then third option to delay. This given company flexibility to start project at later on that can make perhaps conditions are more favorable or additional information has been gathered. And the last option to switch. Flexibility in operation can allow a company to switch input or output in response to market conditions. The advantage of the real option method is flexibility in decision making, and then enhanced risk assessment, and then for the last is strategic value addition. Okay, for the next topic is the 4 group of financial ratio to evaluate company financial health. To evaluate company financial health, comprehensive analysis often rely on a set of financial ratio. These ratios are typically categorized into the 4 main groups. It's addressing in different aspects of the business, financial performance, and stability. First, liquidity ratio. The process assesses the firm's ability to meet its short-term obligations using the current or most liquidity asset. The current ratio divided by current liability measures general liquidity. For the quick ratio, asset test ratio divided by current liability provides a sense of a company's ability to meet a short-term obligation without selling inventory. For the insight, These ratios are crucial for understanding if the company can cover short-term debt and if it potential face liquidity issue. And the second, solvency ratio. Also, we know there is a leverage ratio. Purpose for evaluate the firm's ability to sustain operation independently by examining its debt level relative to its asset or equity. Debt to equity ratio, total debt divided by total equity, to assess the degree of which operations are funded by debt versus shareholder equity. Debt to asset ratio, total debt divided by total asset, indicated what proportion the company asset financial through debt. For the insights, solvency ratio help understand the long-term financial stability of the company and its ability to handle additional long-term debt. And then third, probability ratio. This is for the measure the ability to generate earning relative to sell asset and equity. The insight of this ratio to profitability ratio provide an indicator of operation efficiency and the ability to turn sales into profit. And then for the last, efficiency ratio, as we know, is the activity ratio to evaluate how well the company use its asset and liability internally. Inventory turnover ratio, cost of goods sold divided by average inventory, measure how quickly inventory is sold. Receivable turnover ratio, annual net credit sales divided by average account receivable, indicated how effectively the company collect on its receivable. For the insight, these ratios are useful to determine how effectively the company is using its asset to generate sales and therefore maintain operation. The next topic is risk in the finance, a comprehensive breakdown. First, for the total risk. Total risk encompasses all the potential source of the variability in return of the investment. It reflects the overall uncertainty and measured by the standard deviation of the expected return. The component is total risk combine both systematic and unsystematic risk. The measurement often quantitative using the volatility of historical return, where is a higher standard deviation indicated higher risk. And the second is systematic risk. Systematic risk refers to the portion of the total variability in return cost by the factor that affect the return of all similar investment. These are market-wide risks that cannot be diversified away. For the factor economic challenge, inflation rate, interest rate, and overall economic cycle. For the political change, war, political instability, and then for change in government policy. For the measurement often assessed through beta, which measure the sensitivity of an investment return to market movement. A beta greater than 1 means the investment is the more volatile than the market, while a beta less than 1 means is the less volatile. And then third, unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk is the associated with the factor that affect the particular company or industry. Unlike the system risk, unsystematic risk can be reduced or eliminated through the diversification. Other factor is from the business risk, and then financial risk, and then for the sector specific risk. For the managed we can manage through the diversification, investing in a variety of assets, so the performance of one can be offset the poor performance of the others. Managing risk or systematic risk, we can manage through the asset allocation, choose the different type of the investment that works differentially to broad economic change, like a stock, bond, and real estate. For the unsystematic risk, we can manage by the diversifying investment with in asset class, for example, owning stock in various industry, geographic region, or having different type of the stock like large cap, mid cap, and small cap. Okay, for the financial distress and corporate restructuring or digital overview, financial distress and corporate restructuring are the vital process that help company navigate financial instability and reposition themselves for a recovery and long-term success. Understanding how these concepts relate and how they work together can provide valuable insight into how business manage challenging financial situations. This presentation will delve into the intrication of the financial distress and corporate restructuring, exploring the cause, indicator, consequences, and the type of the restructuring, and highlighting a real-world example to illustrate the effectiveness of this approach. And the last is the financial distress. Cause of the financial distress for the first is revenue decline because of the market competition shift in consumer preference and then reduced demand. The second is excuse debt, high leverage and burdensome interest payment, the poor management, and then economic downturn, and the last is high operating costs. Indicator of financial distress because of low cost flow or liquidity issue, and then default on debt payment, declining profitability, then the last is breach of the loan convenience.
Thank you for your attention and engagement to this presentation. Corporate finance as taught by Prof. Roy Sembel provides us with valuable tools and frameworks to navigate the complexity of the financial decision making in the corporate world. Through this mind map, we will explore the interconnected principles that drive value creation, strategic planning, and financial resilience. I hope this presentation has not only clarified key concepts but also sparked ideas on how you can apply this insight in your own professional or academic journey. Once again, thank you, and I'm open to any question or discussion you may